my preference on how I apply my base makeup. And the foundations I have with me today are Superstay Makeup 24 Hour by Maybelline, Photo Ready Makeup by Revlon, and Fit Me by Maybelline. And each one has different coverage. And I'll start with the least coverage. If you're going for a very light, very natural coverage, I would definitely say go with Fit Me by Maybelline. It's very light, not heavy. I really like the way it feels on my skin. And the scent, this might sound a little weird, but this smells nice. It really does. And this one is in 210. Okay, now the next one I have that supplies about medium coverage is the Revlon Photo Ready in Nude, number 4. And I really like this one if maybe I still want a light coverage, but my base still feels like I need a little bit more. This one is perfect. Now, my last one is that Superstay Makeup by Maybelline. Now, this is for days when I feel I need more coverage than most, and it works amazing, and it really does stay on for a really long time, except I do find my face gets a bit more oily when I use this one, but I still really like it. It's definitely in my top favorites right now. And these are just what I'm liking right now. I do change my mind constantly, so be prepared for me to pull out a different foundation every once in a while to tell you about it. Now, what I'm applying today is Fit Me by Maybelline. And what you're going to do, or what I prefer to do, is I dab on just a little bit. I just dab on a little bit, and then I go in and I blend it. Now you could use your finger or a sponge or a brush, but I figured not everybody's gonna use those tools, so why not use a tool everybody has, like your finger. And make sure you rub it in very well so it looks natural, you don't have weird lines or weird clumps. And I'll definitely say blend it really well into your neck, because there's nothing worse than seeing a really funky line. And to maybe avoid the line is test out a few foundations to find one that really fits your skin. Let's see. Okay. Now you see that I did leave my eyelids alone. That's because I'm going to be putting a eyeshadow primer on them so that my eyeshadow stays on throughout the day. And I do find that every once in a while, if I put a little bit too much eyeshadow, it will still kind of crease, not much, but just a light line. So I keep a brush in my purse, and I'll just whip it out every once in a while, make sure it's blended. But it's still, most of the time the primer works perfect. Okay, see it looks like I've blended everything really well. Okay, so next I'm going to be using my Maybelline New York concealer. It's a part of the Fit Me, and oh crud, let's see. This is number 20, Sand Sable. And this one, it's just like the foundation. It has light coverage, which I'm using today. I don't have too many issues going on my face. But if you're, I haven't found a concealer that has a lot of coverage, like as much coverage as I'd like. So once I find one that I feel really does do its job, I'll definitely post that. And you're just going to work this in with your finger, cover up, like I have a vein. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I have a vein. And sometimes it's more blue than other days, and I tend to try to cover that up. It's a family trait. Thank you, Mother. Anywho, okay. So you're just going to blend this in with your finger, and if you, like I said, if you have a brush or something else you'd like to blend it in, feel free. I'm just, for the people who don't have a brush or anything, I'm just doing it with my finger. Okay, so that's that. Next, I'm moving on to my eyeshadow base. Now the one I am using today is the Ulta eyeshadow base. It's with all the other eyeshadows, and I didn't catch it right off the bat. I thought it was another eyeshadow, but yeah, it works really well. I really like it, but I know not everybody has an Ulta where they live, so I'm looking right now for a primer I like that's at every drugstore. And so far, all the products I have mentioned are in every drugstore, except for this one. So if you find an eyeshadow primer you like, it doesn't have to be expensive. I don't feel like you should have to spend $1 million on makeup. I mean, there are some products I will splurge a little more if I know that the product lasts and it works amazing. But for foundation and stuff, if I know it works great, I'm not going to spend $1 million. So, what I'm going to do now is I'm applying just a little on my finger like that. And I'm going to work it in the top. And because I like to put eyeshadow on my bottom line, I always get a very little and I work it underneath my eye. Right into the corner, all the way out. And make sure it's completely blended so you don't have a really funky color going on. And this one's my color. They have other ones that are for maybe someone with darker skin or a bit fair, but I feel this one works pretty well with everybody. I'm just going to work that in. Okay. And usually I do my powder last. I prefer, if I want a more dewy look, just because I'm really oily, I do all my makeup first, and then I go in with a little bit of powder, just to get rid of the oily spots, and just so it can have a little bit of a dewy effect. But if you prefer a more matte look, put powder on immediately after you put on, just so it can set in with your foundation. Now, I don't know if y'all will find this part of your base makeup, but I like to put a highlighter on right at this point. Some people might want to put it on last. I prefer to put it on now so I can then maybe go in with maybe a powder highlighter just to accent some stuff, but everybody has their own preference. So the one I am using is the Gemma Kid Makeup School, and it's Dewy Glow All Over Radiance Cream, #1 Iced Gold. Now this they don't sell at drugstores. I ordered this at the Derm store, and I believe it's $32. And some of y'all might not want to spend that much on just a highlighter or cream highlighter. If you find one you like, that's perfect. Use whatever you like. But this one is my favorite. I'm totally addicted to it. It's like my favorite item right now in my makeup box. So here's where I apply it. I like to go in with my finger. Just get a little bit. I like to go underneath my eyebrow. Work it in. I don't know if you can see that with this lighting. This lighting in here is not the best. So bear with me until I get a better light. Go under that eye. Then I like to go right here. And then work it in. And then you go and highlight your cheeks. Now you can put it anywhere you feel you'd like to have a little bit of shimmer. You don't have to do your eyebrow. You don't have to do the center of your eye. You don't have to do your cheek. It's all your preference. But this is how I prefer to apply it. Just a few spots. And that is it. It's very simple. I mean, it just takes a couple minutes just to apply everything. If you apply it right, it does look kind of natural, I would say.